Hello and welcome back. I am jeffgrantMEDIA. In today's real user review, we are going to take a look at the brand new Flint and Tinder dry wax trucker jacket. Now, Huckberry did send me this as a sample for review, but all of the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone. I did not share this content with Huckberry prior to publication. They will see this when you do. In addition to that, there will be affiliate links in the description box down below. If you're considering buying this jacket or any other product from Huckberry, please consider using those links. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but I do earn a small commission from that sale, and all that money goes back to the channel, help me produce more content so consumers can make informed purchasing decisions. Okay, so this is a brand new product. It just dropped like a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I got it right about the time it released. This is the Flint and Tinder dry wax trucker, but you can see it has the same visual aesthetics as the iconic Flint and Tinder wax trucker jacket, except it doesn't feature a flannel lining, and it's also a dry wax canvas. Now, we'll get into all the full specs, but because I know this is kind of an important one, 6.5 ounces of British Millerain, 7 ounces of Martexan sailcloth. So it's a little bit lighter and a completely different fabric. So again, dry wax versus wet wax. Now, let's break that down real quick. A wet wax is what people generally think of when they think of a waxed jacket. It has that like wet, damp feeling to it. If you touch it, it feels cool. It feels almost wet. Where this is a dry wax, it doesn't feel like that at all. Now, I've actually had, this is the British Millerain, Teak-Wax 6. I've actually had this in other brands, but this is the driest feeling that I've ever felt. So I may have had a different version. I know British Millerain makes several versions of their dry wax, so maybe I didn't have this exact fabric, but this feels incredibly dry. So when you touch this, you don't get that, it doesn't feel wet or wet, waxy or damp at all. It just feels kind of smooth, like almost like a leathery kind of feel, like a light, thin, like maybe like a lambskin leather. Maybe not as soft and supple, but it has that like kind of smooth feel to it. It doesn't feel damp at all. And the driest out of all of the dry wax canvas that I have tried so far, where when you grab this, now this one's well worn, well broken in, so when I'm touching it, it feels cool, but I mean, it's about 48 degrees out here, so anything's gonna feel a little cool to the touch. But this is a well worn, well broken in version of the jacket, and it doesn't have that same feeling to it, but this is probably 4 or 5 years old at this point. When they're new, for the first year or two, you're gonna have more of like a wet, damp feeling when you touch it. And again, it breaks in and wears off and sheds a lot of the wax. This is probably due for rewaxing, but it doesn't have that initial like damp, wet feeling that people generally associate with a waxed canvas jacket. So it has a completely different feel to it. Also a completely different material. This is an American-made Martexan sailcloth. This is a British-made British Millerain. So American-made fabric, British-made fabric, but the aesthetic is the same. So if you're looking for something like in the warmer months, this might be the route to go, because not only is there no liner, it is a little bit lighter. And I've gotten this question a lot of via email, so I know some people don't like to ask the question out loud, but I've literally fielded the same question 15 or 20 times on the unboxing of this. Does it breathe? And while I can't definitively say if it's going to breathe well once you get in that heat and humidity, we have had a couple of our famous Pennsylvania false springs or false summers. Maybe 2-3 weeks ago, we had a slew of days, like 4 or so, 5 maybe in a row, where we had like low to mid 70s, and then 1 or 2 of those days it was bordering on 80 degrees. It was hot, especially when your blood is like molasses, because it has been an extremely cold winter. So I had this on in those days, and I felt like it was breathing a little bit better than a wet wax version. Now, I do have a point of comparison, because 2 years ago, Flint and Tinder released this jacket, which is their waxed, unlined wax trucker jacket, but this has a different style. We have a double chest pocket. This is more of a type 3 style as opposed to a closer to like a type 1. But this also has like a little bit different zigzagging pattern and stuff. But this is the same 7-ounce Martexan sailcloth as the iconic flannel line version. And I did wear both. I've worn this and I worn this in the summer months when it was really hot. And I can say, well, the unlined is certainly the better option when I wear them when I'm riding the ruckus. So this is certainly the better option when you're riding, to be wearing this one in the summer. I can't definitively say, but I think the dry wax is going to be an even better option, because the dry canvas seems to breathe a little bit better. Now it is, nonetheless, it is waxed. So essentially what you're doing is you're closing up all of the pores in the cotton, so the water can't come through. So this isn't going to breathe as well as an unwaxed, like a regular cotton, a regular canvas, or a regular denim jacket would in those summer months. But this being a dry waxed and a little bit lighter, 6.5 as opposed to 7 ounces, this in those warmer days that I have tested it, it did feel like it was breathing a little bit better. So I can't say if it's going to be the best option, which I doubt because it's wax. Not going to be the best option for a hot, humid day, but it's certainly going to be a better option than a wet wax because I feel like it is breathing just a little bit better. And now that can't tell now because there's still no greenery around. You can see in these woods here, we are starting to warm up. I think today we're gonna have another one of those fall summer days. I believe it's gonna be like 75 degrees this afternoon. It's only like 45, 48 right now. But this is gonna be a great option for these, I guess what I would like to call like these swing weather days. I don't really have a name for it. I kind of make it up as I go along. But the mornings, like today, it's a little bit warmer. Yesterday, it was about 23 degrees when I went to work, and it was like 16 when I left. So like this is a good layer jacket. It was also a little drizzly in the morning, so waxed, really good option for that. So in the morning, it was a little cooler, a little drizzly. I had a little bit heavier shirt on. I'm wearing the Flint and Tinder cotton Western shirt right now with the bone buttons. Love this shirt, but I have this on now. I had a little bit heavier flannel on yesterday because it was a little cooler, but I paired it with this jacket and it was great, especially that little drizzle walking out the door, kept me dry, kept me comfortable. Then when I came out, when it was a little bit warmer, a little windier too, the wax worked well because it was helping to block some of that wind, but because it is a lighter unlined version, I wasn't like overheating walking out in 60 degrees. But let's hit a couple of those specs so we can really nail down what this jacket is made of. Well, the Flint and Tinder dry wax trucker jacket comes in at $198 USD. It is available from extra small to 3XL. It comes in fatigue green as seen here, dark olive, or dark blue. It is made from a 100% British Millerain Ranger 6 dry wax cotton cloth that has 100% cotton herringbone pocket bags. The fabric weight is 6.5 ounces, or as Huckberry puts it, 220 GSM, which is grams per square meter. And it is made in Vietnam. So let's start with that price point. I know a lot of people complain about the $300 price tag on the flannel line version. While I think that is completely acceptable, you're getting an American-made jacket. It's cut and sewn in America. The materials are made in America. And this thing is one of my all-time favorite jackets. Absolutely love this thing. And I've beaten the hell out of this one. This is probably one of my most worn jackets out of this thing. So I think the $300 price point, in my opinion, is completely fair for the flannel line version. This is cheaper, $198. So it's $100 cheaper than its counterpart. Now this is made in Vietnam and the materials are a British Millerain as opposed to the Martexan sailcloth that is American made, but I have had other even more expensive jackets than this that have been made out of different fabrics from British Millerain, and I've had $400-500 jackets made out of very similar materials, and they're great. So the material itself, while it isn't American made, I know that might be a deal breaker for some, British made, great material, but it is actually manufactured in Vietnam. So we're coming in at that lower price point for a couple of reasons. We don't have the liner, so there's less materials. While we are still not made in American fabric, we are still using a quality fabric from a quality manufacturer that makes goods for so many different brands, but it is manufactured in Vietnam instead of America. So you're saving $100. So that might be a really good price point for some of you to hit because it does have the same style as the flannel line wax trucker as opposed to the older version of the unlined wax trucker that had more of a standard type 3 trucker jacket kind of look to it. This has the jacket that everyone really has been searching for. It was popular before The Last of Us, but The Last of Us really put this jacket on the map, and it really took off from there. These are actually, flannel line anyway, is actually hard to find in stock when it's in season, like end of summer, beginning of fall. Those things fly off the shelf. So honestly, if you're looking at either, pick one up now if they're available, because once you want it and it's getting cold for a flannel line version, you're probably going to have to wait because they're probably going to be back ordered. But it has the same overall aesthetic, the same style than the original. So cheaper price point, same aesthetic. This might be a price point that it really ticks off a lot of boxes for a lot of people. Now, The material, again, it feels completely different. The driest out of all of the dry wax canvas I have ever seen. If I didn't tell you this was a wax canvas material, you would probably never know. It has more of a feel to it like a poly blend, although it is not. It is a cotton blend that is dry wax, giving it that feel, but it just does not have that traditional waxed feeling or really look to it at all. Now, one other thing you're noticing, again, this is only like a month and a half old, we don't have a ton of that creasing in the inner elbows like we get on wax or selvage. Because it's a drier wax and it doesn't have that same feel, I think you're still gonna get that creasing, and as I wear it, it will certainly crease up more, especially once I get in these warmer months and mixed with a little bit of sweat and all that. But because this is a dry wax, I don't think we're gonna get quite that creasing, so we're not gonna get quite as much sleeve shrinkage. So that is one thing a lot of people complain when they get a waxed canvas or even a selvage jacket, is the sleeves are too long. The sleeves are too long. Well, a lot of that is by design, because the more you wear it, these sleeves will actually crease, or they'll actually shrink up. As you crease the inner elbows of the jacket, it will pull the sleeve up. So if the sleeve was where you want it when it's brand new, once it creases, you're going to end up with a sleeve that is too short. Now, these brand new, they're landing pretty good on me, and I think like that is by design, because I don't think this is going to crease up in the inner elbow nearly as much as a wet wax jacket would. So you're not going to have that same, I guess, that same look, if you want, that same overall aesthetic as the jacket wears and breaks in. While I'm sure this is going to break in and age nicely, you're not going to have that patina, if you will, that people see when they picture a well-worn wax canvas jacket. Like some of the ads they had for the flannel line version, they'd have a brand new with a well-worn one, and you see the sleeves are all creased up, and you have those darkening spots where like the wax is still kind of in the creases, where the high points are a little lighter because the wax kind of wore off, and you're seeing more of the actual material, like the cotton fibers and stuff coming through. But I don't think we're going to have the same shrinkage of the sleeves like we would in a wet wax. So keep that in mind. Now, one point of note that I noticed with this, because it is a little different, it's actually a little bit loud. Now, when I'm just walking, I don't know if you can hear it in the microphone, it's a little loud, but when you're wearing a backpack, it's quite loud. You can hear that swishing fabric. I would equate it kind of like a brand new rain jacket. You get that like swishy sound when you get a brand new rain jacket because it's all new. It's kind of stiff materials. Now, I think the sound will deaden as this jacket ages and it breaks and it softens up. I think we're still gonna have a little bit louder material than a wet wax, just because it's the nature of the beast. It has a little bit more stiffness to the material, I guess you will, because it has a whole completely different feel to it. But that's the only point of note, and that's honestly me being a bit nitpicky, because not everything's perfect, so I gotta find something, and that is the one thing that I noticed right away, is that the jacket is a little bit loud. Now let's talk about the fit, feel, and finish. I am 5'9", roughly 180 to 185 pounds, a 42.5-inch chest over a t-shirt. I am wearing this in a size large, and I think this fits me really, really well. Now, I will say I have had to adjust to a size large in the newer versions of the flannel line wax chucker, because a year or two ago, when Flint and Tinder updated the design a little bit and added the lined pocket bags, I think they slimmed down the overall cut. And yeah, I'm getting older, and I definitely put on a few pounds, but I feel like the size larges now fit closer to what the size mediums used to fit in the flannel line version, and I would say this unlined version fits pretty similar, maybe a little bit looser. So if you are on the fence of a, say, medium or a large, you might be able to get that size medium without having to jump up in size, because I think this is offering me just a little bit more room in the body. But at this point in time, I don't feel as though it is big or bulky or looks sloppy on me. I find that it is fitting and feeling really, really well. I can still fit a sweatshirt underneath this when it is a little bit cooler out, or as I'm wearing right now, just over a midweight or lightweight flannel shirt. I'm finding the quality of this jacket to be on par from what I have come to know and love and expect out of Flint and Tinder. I have not had a bad product from them yet. And again, this is not my first foray with British Millerain. The overall material, it feels really, really nice, although completely different than any wax canvas I have ever used. Now, I want to do a little bit of a color comparison, because this is a question I'm sure I'm going to get asked. This is the flannel line version. This is the iconic, this is the field tan version. This is the one that Pedro Pascal wears in The Last of Us. This is the Havana, which is a little bit darker, so honestly, not too much different in color shade from the field tan. Now, this British Millerain, completely different manufacturer again, but this is the forest green. So if we want to compare all of them together, I would say the forest green, well, maybe if you look at my shoulder here, we're getting a little bit direct sunlight. It does have a few greenish tinges to it, but I would say overall the color is a bit more brown, so it does look a little bit closer. I'd say a little bit darker than the Havana, but there's a quick color comparison if you want. This is what people generally think of when they see the wax trucker, which is the field tan, the Havana, which is a little bit darker, and then the forest green in the new online version. But when it comes down to it, do I think that this jacket is worth it? And honestly, yeah, I do. It has the same quality, the same aesthetic that I've come to know and love from Flint and Tinder. One of my favorite jackets is the Flint and Tinder flannel line wax trucker jacket. This takes that exact same aesthetic, while I love, actually absolutely love, the old 2-year-old online version that has the double pockets and the zigzag pattern. I love that jacket. This is the aesthetic, what I think of, and I'm sure what you think of when you think of the wax trucker jacket, the Flint and Tinder wax trucker. This is what you picture in your mind, this look. Not the double pockets, not the zigzag, not the closer to type 3. This is what you picture, and that's what you're getting. And not only that, it's cutting down on the biggest complaint that I have seen from the flannel line version, and that's the price point. $398, $198. Now, while I, again, personally think $300 is a very, very valid price point to pay for that jacket, a lot of people complain about the price point. Now, a lot of people, I guess, would agree with me, because this thing is actually hard to keep in stock when it's in season for it. And you can even buy them used for like $200, the same price you could buy this for brand new. But a lot of people don't like that price point. They think it's expensive. Well, here it's $100 cheaper. Now, not made in the US, made in Vietnam, but still made out of very high quality British Millerain wax canvas. A completely different feel than I have ever seen, not only from this jacket from a wax canvas, but you're still getting that same iconic style. So yeah, I do think it's worth it. I've really been enjoying wearing this jacket, and you know, it being loud, that's just nitpicky. I mean, you got to find something with every product. Nothing's perfect, and if I noticed that right away, so I noticed it, I have to mention it. I have to mention if I find it, and that was something I noticed like the very first day I wore it. I was just walking, and I heard my arms just swishing, and I was like, that seems kind of loud. But again, a bit nitpicky. But I think the price point's worth it. It has the same style that people think of when they think of that iconic Flint and Tinder wax trucker. So there you go. There you have it. I hope this helped you just a little bit in your purchasing decision. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications the next time I post a brand new video. Good night.